in San Diego. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Real Talk San Diego, and we're here to bring you the business of life in America's finest city. I'm Claire McKee, and as always, this show is presented by our loyal partners at 5 Star Escrow and First American Title. We're talking all things real estate today, and joining me to do so is Christie Lundy and Angela Pinamonti. They are with RE/MAX at the Coast. Hi, ladies.
Hi, you did that good. You said my last name right.
Did I?
Yes.
Give me some. Yeah, off to a good start.
Pinamonti. I'm an Italian.
How did I say it? So I
You
say
said
it right
good.
again.
Pinamonti.
Pinamonti. Okay, just making sure. And to my left here is Jayson and Yuri Jacobo. They are with GoldenWest Management. Welcome back.
Hi. Good to be here again.
Glad to have you here. We're going to have some fun today. You guys know I ask the crazy questions to start, so I'm going to kick it over to these ladies. This one's an easy one. This one's easy. How was Thanksgiving? What did you do?
It was exhausting.
It's so easy.
Just kidding. It was great. I'm born and raised in San Diego and Vista, actually. So we went up to my uncle's house in Valley Center, had a great time.
Nice.
I have a huge family, so there was probably 40 of us up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to cook?
I did. I always like to bring something new, so I forget what I even brought this year. A salad.
You brought some enchiladas.
Oh, yeah.
You better not
She knows.
You didn't get any
She
there.
had a whole conversation.
No, but I did talk about it for like a day.
Looking
like,
through the window, I think.
She's like salivating. Yeah, butternut squash, corn, black bean, enchiladas. And it was funny because people walked around and do the little buffet and they're like, where did these come from?
this?
Like, yeah, what's this eccentric meal item? But everybody loved them, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Christy?
So we live 6 houses down from my mother-in-law. So we walked the 3 kids and the husband down to mother-in-law's house, and she cooked, and my brother-in-laws were there, and it was kind of stressful because the kids are off of school the week before. And
Yeah, what is that, first of all?
Oh
Kids
my
get the whole
gosh.
week
They
off
get like
now?
2 weeks off now.
it is.
Did you know that? Do your kids get off?
My kids are 11 months old. I'm
Oh,
not there
they-
yet. I'm not there yet.
my
They're not in
gosh.
school.
I'm not there
Okay.
yet.
Keep them
I
in
had
school.
all 3 kids
365 days.
all week. I walked them into my mother-in-law's house, and I was like, check out.
Yeah.
I can't deal with these
Like,
kids.
Enjoy.
give me some
There you
sangria.
So it's great because I had the family to entertain them, but the food was wonderful, and it was great being with our family. So
Very cool. I grew up next to my grandparents, so I have like a special place to just be able to walk down the street and see your
Go
family
knock
like
on their
that.
I
door.
grew up with my grandparents also, and so one of the reasons we moved close to my mother-in-law, she's my kid's last grandparent. So it was really great to have that connection with her so that
Totally.
they can really get to know that, have that generational connection. So I love that.
Absolutely. All right, kicking it over to you guys. What'd you guys do for Thanksgiving?
Yuri, what did you do?
Well, I am Mexican, so we always have like a Mexican-American fusion of Thanksgiving. It was about like 20 of us that got together. It was very fun. Again, I don't cook, so I'm not held accountable to make anything.
I brought the wine.
I think
Right?
that's the best.
Yeah, I just brought my cute self with my energy
Yes.
and ready to get the party started because I always do that. But it was great. I always love to be in family, and I always look forward to the deviled eggs and the cheesecake. This year,
Pumpkin cheesecake? Pumpkin
Together.
this year it was interesting
Yeah,
though.
mixed up in a blender smoothie.
We've never done a fried turkey, and my brother is a firefighter, so he had the
Right.
full get-up. So he put on
that's
his
cool.
mask.
YouTube video,
No
what not
way.
to do, right?
He studied it thoroughly. I was like, I entrust that you will do this correctly, and we voted which turkey was better, my mom's baked
You
or
took
the
a vote.
fried,
Wow.
and my brother won.
Ricky's a rock star in his defense. Ricky is
How
a
does your
rock
mom
star,
feel
so.
about that?
Right?
She
So
was
let down.
like, well, I guess you're making the turkey next year. I was like, that's what you get.
What a
Yeah, but
trap.
she's
Yeah,
done.
It
exactly.
was wonderful.
Took something off her plate, right?
Oh my gosh. So were you here locally then?
Yeah, we were in Oceanside. That's
Okay.
where most of my family is.
Very cool. What about you, Jayson?
Went to Palm Springs, got with the in-laws. We'll have triplets. So as I said, 11 months old is their first Thanksgiving. So trying to wrestle them down and putting them in the goblet onesie.
Oh my gosh.
And then trying to feed them their first whipped turkey, solid food. So again, I love Thanksgiving. I definitely can't cook at all, and it's probably a good thing I'm nowhere near the kitchen.
Yeah,
I know how to
right.
clean up,
Yeah.
and then I know how to take the kids around and make sure they're doing well. But it was wonderful. We had a great time. The weather was perfect.
Insane,
Grandma
right?
and Grandpa have a pool, so the little
Nice.
kids were in the pool. And again, Thanksgiving and being in a pool, it's 90 degrees out there. This is wonderful.
It's hard for me to get used to that because I'm from Ohio. I'm used to being bundled up. I'm like, maybe I'll wear my fur vest. Like, it's 90 degrees outside.
I thought it was gonna be cold, and then we got hit with that heat wave like crazy out of nowhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
stocked up on pea coats, and I was like, I'm wearing
There
a
we
dress.
go.
Yeah, I wore a dress too. I'm like,
Yup.
Yeah,
let's do it.
it's like spring.
So, ladies, you have to tell me what's something that most people may not know about you. Just a fun fact.
Oh.
I mean, I guess the family thing, I have 16 immediate cousins. So,
Wow.
yeah, just in my, immediate family alone, and then 30 between blended families. So, yeah, just the cousins. So,
That's wild.
yeah, it's pretty
I
crazy.
can't imagine what your family reunions are like.
I know. We
You gotta-
actually haven't had any in a few years. I need to get on the boat with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
I think you'd
it's
have to rent a
definitely blast.
yacht to
I
get
know.
everybody on there.
I think we need to rent like a whole state. I think sounds that one. So.
It was funny. I actually had someone message me this morning and say, "Oh, are you going to do your beatboxing today?"
Oh, yes.
So that's my.
Stop.
I have I have two talents. One is doing the Running Man, and then the other is this beatbox. So I can only do it to take me out to the ball game. It's like it's
That's
amazing.
it.
Oh my, that's awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome.
So that's all I got.
Oh, I was waiting.
I can do the whole song, but we'd be here all day.
Yeah,
so
we'd be
we're
here.
good.
You saw it here first, people. That's all I'm saying. What's something people may not know about the two of you?
You can take the lead on this one.
You know what? I think a lot of people know that I've been in property management forever, but they don't know that actually my first job was in a yogurt store. So I learned all my people person skills from Goldmine Yogurt. I want to give them a shout out, a small business. They taught me everything I know from start to finish, from how to make the perfect cone, perfect cup. So
Okay.
Should test them.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's got the yogurt machine?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Can we get the yogurt machine on
Go,
set,
go,
please?
gadget arms, please. I'll get that sorted
Special
out, right?
guest. I guess something quirky about me is I'm very relaxed, but when it comes to eating M&Ms, I color
What?
coordinate them first
Oh my
before
gosh.
I eat them. And a lot of people think that's weird.
Don't take the wrong ones from
Which
the jar
one's the
either.
first and which one's the last?
The last ones are brown
I feel like
because they deserve the honor because they're real chocolate
No.
in my head.
I think it's still fake chocolate though. It's just colored light brown.
But it's just something quirky that people don't know about me, and they usually find it funny when I do it. They're
She
like, "What are you doing?"
immediately was
Well, when they
like,
watch
the
it.
chocolate ones last.
Always.
Immediately.
The brown ones last.
You are so funny. Yuri, if you could stay one age forever, what age would you want to be?
Oh, my perfect day. Well, I'm only 27, but 23 was a really good year for me. I traveled a lot, and I think I could go back to that age and just stay there.
Okay, fair game. Jason, what about you?
Actually, to be honest, this is the best year ever because of the little ones.
Oh, good.
You know what? I'm definitely one of those guys who would have said, hey, I don't know if I want kids, or maybe just give me one boy, and then I got 3 all at once. The doctor was kind of like, another heartbeat, another heartbeat.
Oh my
another
gosh.
heartbeat.
Are they all girls or?
So I have 2 boys
Oh,
and a
okay.
girl, and again, on top of that, you always talk about having that boy, but my princess, she is what makes it every day. So she's just absolutely gorgeous, stunning. These beautiful blue eyes, obviously not for me. But
Yours are blue, kinda.
I'll have to call my wife on that. So every morning I get to come down and see her, and so it just melts my heart. So this year I probably wouldn't change it.
This is the year.
Right.
You're not playing man-to-man defense, though. You're playing zone. That's tough.
You know what? I got to be honest. I asked my wife, "Do you want to try for another kid?" She's like, "We could end up with 6." So.
Or like 8 maybe.
I had a small panic attack when you just said that. 6 children. Okay. What age would you stay forever?
I'd have to say maybe in my late 20s. It was definitely a blast. It was same with you. I've been traveling. I
Yeah.
don't have any kids. I've been in a long-term relationship, but I feel like there's a little bit of freedom, and that's kind of where my career kind of took a hit of success. So it was kind of nice to feel financially free and be able to do the stuff that you want to do.
Yeah,
But
totally.
it'll only get better from here. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mine was 30 or 27. I just said
Okay.
37, which I'll be in like a month. But 27 is where I'd stay. It's like you're just old enough to like have some street cred, but you're young enough to still have fun.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that
Old
I
enough
don't-
to have street
like that
cred.
transition.
That's the right way to
I
phrase
am
it.
enjoying this year a lot.
Right? That's a good
Just
year.
got your street
27
cred,
was
though.
a great year. Just got it.
All right, last question before we start talking shop. Christy, if you woke up as an animal tomorrow, what animal would you be?
I would be a giraffe.
Why?
Because I love giraffes and they're tall and see everything and they're gentle. They're maybe a little stupider than I'd like to be, but
you'd be pretty at
blissful,
least,
but
right?
blissful
Yeah.
and pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Angela, what about
This is
you?
actually pretty funny because I've been watching The Hunt on Netflix. It's about
Are you
like
gonna eat me?
maybe. No, but it's a show that they like do prey and predators, and it's almost like Earth, or what's that movie or that nature
Oh yeah,
think it's
yeah.
called
series? Was it Earth?
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth, yeah, where they get really close and show you how people are, or how the
Help people.
people. Animals are going to go after people, or God,
Eventually.
after their prey. Scratch. Anyways, it's pretty funny. But I've been watching a lot of lemurs, and I love the lemurs. I love how they're just goofy and they do that weird
What's a lemur? What?
jumpy thing. Oh my God.
It's got like,
no
does it
idea.
have the
After this,
rings
you
on the
have to look it
tail?
up.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, they have
like
the rings on the tail, but they're like a
monkey.
jumping
Is
animal.
it?
Yeah, it's a type of monkey. But they like jump and they do this
I
like
need more Netflix in my life.
they do this
apparently.
funky little dance, and I feel like that just explains exactly who I am. Like
was worried
carefree.
You were gonna be like a tiger and be like, I'm gonna eat this giraffe.
I thought about a cheetah, but let's stay with the funky, goofy lemurs. Okay, good.
I love it. That's a tough act to follow. What you got?
Oh, I already know Yuri's is the coyote or the wolf or something from last
Actually.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
In the
Figure it out.
family, I'm gonna pick the most basic one, a dog.
Back to
Because if you think about it, they have the best lives.
Totally.
My dog is treated like a king,
Winston,
so
yeah.
I would love. And I feel like my instincts aren't that great. If you put me out like in the forest, I'm not really sure I'll survive.
You wouldn't make it in the wild.
But if you put me in a suburban home, I will definitely make it.
Right.
So
We're inside, ladies
an
and
inside
gentlemen.
dog.
Give her the life of Winston.
Yes,
She'll
give
be
me the
good.
life of Winston. That's what I would pick. Think about it. You would not survive out in the jungle. It's
warm.
I'd be the first one out.
You get outfits as a dog.
Right,
You get-
right.
You get coats and shoes.
Pretty colors.
Yep.
Everything.
Served your food every day.
He
I mean,
eats before
shoot.
me,
Yeah.
so-
yeah.
Wow.
No
I think
joke.
I'm gonna change my answer.
Yeah, right? Think about it.
Do you want to be her dog?
No.
Kidding,
Your
Jason.
friend.
Lenny the lizard. I've been playing with that thing for my
What?
kids all like the last couple months. The people give the weirdest gifts. Somebody thought it'd be a good idea.
Is
to
that
put
an
a little-
animal?
It's a little lizard. It's, the
Oh.
kids. I don't think they really named it, but someone named it. They gave it to us. We're watching this thing. The kids are kind of weird. They like hit on the gas and then they're like, it doesn't move, and then they move on. But that's my spirit animal for right now.
Okay, Lenny, I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
For now.
Well, guys, we're just getting
totally
started, but if
distraction.
you like what you see, be sure to click like on our live feed so you can be notified every time we go live. And I see you guys are showing us some love. What do we have here? Jacqueline Nicole said, you're so cute and so grown up. Somebody posted your full beatboxing. So if you want to see
That's
her beatbox,
our media guy. Definitely co-shared that with everybody probably in the world. So.
that is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That video also has the Running Man as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
combination.
Maybe we'll just take the show out with you
Yeah,
doing
let's
the
put that
Running
in
Man.
there.
You know, like I think that's really official. So, Christie and Angela, they are with Remax at the Coast. And why don't you just start out by telling us a little bit about how you got into the industry and a little bit about your business?
No, yeah, first.
I actually I went to school and had a dream of being an architect back out of high school, and I went locally to RBV and Vista, Longhorns representing. Anyways, so I had a dream of being an architect. I just didn't feel it. So when I went to college, I went to San Diego State as well, so I'm also an Aztec alumni. I'm just repping San Diego. And I decided that I wanted to do interior design, so I ended up going that route, which was very similar, you know, floor plans, renderings, all that stuff. It took me 6 years to graduate from state, super senior, as they call it. And then after that, I kind of got into the food service industry, became a bartender. I had a gentleman, you know, he was a regular, also knew my family, or we had gone to high school I've gone to high school with his stepson. And he's like, hey, get your real estate license, I'll get you a job. I'm like, okay. So a year later, I was in the industry, and I haven't looked back since. So.
I love those stories. Christy, what about you?
Yeah, I first wanted to get into real estate when I was teaching third grade in South Central LA. And I remember a couple of teachers, this was like before the bust, and so teachers doing deals in the lunchroom, and I was like, well, if this fool can do it, like why can't I do this, right? He's making this money on the side, but I didn't. It took me like another 12 years to finally get to the point where I was confident to go into business for myself.
Yeah.
And I love helping people. I've worked for nonprofits, teaching my whole life, and just really wanted to help people find home. My grandparents bought their first house, you know, over 50 years ago. They bought it for $26,000, and they kept it forever. It allowed them to have an amazing retirement and an amazing life. And then when they sold it for $950,000.
Wow.
You know, and so I loved seeing this, like, you know, my grandpa came from Missouri with $2.24 in his pocket during the Great Depression, and was able to build a really amazing life for his family because of real estate. And so I love that idea of home for people.
Yeah. How do you think your background in education helps service your clients today in real estate?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Thanks.
Being able to, that's why you do this. But
Yeah, don't
really, taking the time to understand what they're going through and explain the processes. Seeing, okay, here's where we're at, here's where we need to get our understanding to be, and how do we get from A to B.
So maybe explain the dynamic between the two of you, because you work together in Vista, right? But you also have like your own separate businesses. You're not officially a team. So kind of explain that to us.
So we actually met probably 3.5 years ago. We were at our initial brokerage for either of us. That's kind of where I started and where Christie started as well. And we kind of always knew that we worked well together. And then we started teaming up on things probably 2 years ago. If you want to elaborate on.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to take a listing in a neighborhood that I wasn't super familiar with, and they wanted someone who was really area specific. And so I brought Angela in because she had that specific area knowledge.
And I live there, yeah.
And so we ended up in, with that listing, and then this little neighborhood of homes, we've, done like probably 8 sales in the last
8
year.
or 9, yeah.
So that's how we kind of ended up partnering together and working together, and then we made the jump to Remax at the Coast together. So we also have our individual businesses, but we work a couple of different areas and what we get off of that area together.
Yeah, so we basically just farm that one neighborhood together, and anything that comes in and out of that neighborhood, we share. Whether it's even they're buying something else out of that neighborhood, well, we just have a mutual respect for each other, and I feel like I see in this industry sometimes it's all about competition, and that's just not how we do our business. It's like I'd rather work with any of you all day long and be 50-50 than fight for the business and be aggressive about it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that.
And we have a similar work ethic too. Like we had a family who was looking for a home in a really specific zip code, really specific requirements. And so, it's 95 degrees one day and we're like, we got to find him a house. So we're door knocking in 95 degree weather, just sweating, we enjoy working together. But
my body.
But we found this couple a really great home. It was listed with another agent, but it was pre-market. But she's like, oh yeah, we're selling. And
in 2 weeks. And we're like, can we get in tomorrow?
we were like dancing around and like,
I think she thought we were crazy or like we were going to
came
rob
out.
her or
The running
something.
man came
Other than
Who are these ladies?
We were either Mormon or going to kill her or going to steal from her.
who's door knocking?
Yeah, but luckily it turned out okay.
But having that same excitement and thrill of like finding the perfect home for this family is.
We do share a lot of things in common. We work really well together. We actually have moved businesses with a couple other ladies as well, and there's 4 of us total. And the synergy between the 4 of us is just such a shared communication, shared learning. We all mastermind together. So I think it's just, it's great.
I love that. You're taking it from the competition to like, let's all just support each other and
Yes.
lift each other up, right?
Yeah,
Combine
that's
our
what it's about.
resources.
Rising tide raises all boats, right?
All right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so cute.
I'll get it on a little piece of wood for you. You can put it on your desk.
There you
Bumper
go.
sticker.
Yeah. So what would you say ultimately makes you stand out? How are you doing things differently from the other 20,000 realtors in California?
I think it goes based on that same dynamic. I mean, our dynamic, even together and individually, is really pride in customer service. And I'm not about quantity of my transactions. I'd rather know that I'm there for my client at all times. I will be there to answer the phone. I'll be there to go to all the appointments, and I will be there after the transaction ends. I mean,
So important.
all my clients end up being my friends, and I'm lucky and blessed to help a lot of my friends, but I take pride that all my clients I stay in contact with throughout the year, and
Make new friends along the way.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what you just said, really meeting our clients where they are and not having them come to meet us. So not just like location-wise, but we just took over a listing from another brokerage, and the seller was really frustrated. She's an older woman, and they wanted her to call an 800 number, leave a message, get a call back. And she's someone who wants to sign things in person. She wants someone to walk through the paperwork with her. And is that more time? Is it more attention? Yes, it is.
Sure.
But we're willing to come to her where she is so that she feels confident. This is going to be probably the last home that she sells. And so we want to make sure that she has a great experience and feels cared for through the process so that it's a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
So let's focus on Vista a little bit, since that's where you work together. What draws people to Vista? Who is Vista great for?
That's my hometown.
Rep it, girl.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love Vista. I've been there for 31 years, born and raised. But it's just so cool now to see what that city is really doing. And what did you call it, the ugly stepchild or what?
Oh, yeah. Vista doesn't have like the best reputation. When we were looking to move from LA, my husband's down from San Diego, and he was like, oh, we can't move to Vista.
It's still like that. There's a stigma against it. I don't know why.
We ended up buying a house there because we got more for our dollar. We got a beautiful home on a beautiful lot on a great street. And then when I lived there, I was like, wow, like you were so wrong about this town. It is super cool. The brewery scene is amazing. It's got a ton of microbrews. It's got great tasting rooms. The downtown area is incredible. Got Belching Beaver now, Wavelength.
Nice.
Mother Earth
That's
has been there.
Vista
There's
Village,
a cool pizza place.
Well, there's a bunch of new restaurants, Flying Pig, another bar, and then a different barbecue place that's also in a different part of Vista is coming down there now. Yeah, it's just great. And then the Wave Water Park, we kind of stand on the map for that, for having the local small water park.
Yeah, and it's still close to the beach. You know, it's a great value. You get more land and house for your dollar there. Lots of young families are moving into Vista just because it's affordable and you can get a bigger house. You know, what you can get by the coast, you know, 2-bedroom, 2-bath for your family now of 5, right? Is really different in Vista. For the same price, you can get a 3 or 4-bedroom, 2-bath with a nice piece of land too. Oh, people are coming to Vista for land because they want to have some chickens.
Not on
and
top
some
of your
dogs.
neighbors.
I've seen that.
But that's what I like about Vista, because there are some like suburban areas like Shadow Ridge, which has the golf course, and closer, you know, your homes are closer together. Or you can go 10 minutes out to the countryside and have like a beautiful acre of land and build your own custom home and have, even some of those have beautiful ocean views, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a great diverse city.
And there's tons of development going on in Vista right
it's
now
crazy.
too.
A bunch of new home developments are coming. I like to stalk everything that's happening in that city. So yeah, a bunch of land has been picked up in the last 7 years, and they're finally developing on it because values are up. So there's a few new condo complexes that are going to come off East Vista Way. There's new homes actually right in Chattridge. They're building townhomes right behind the old Burger King, if anybody knows that's watching.
On Melrose.
On Melrose. So just a bunch of little developments popping up here or there, and it's awesome to see. So.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of growth.
I'm glad you mentioned the more bang for your buck, because one of the hot topics is, do I keep renting? Do I just suck it up and buy a home? My rent keeps going up. I could probably pay for a mortgage. And so what are you seeing with your clients when they're kind of like, what do I do? What's the best decision to make?
I feel like that comes across on almost every transaction. It's like, oh, we thought about buying or we thought about renting, but we were going to buy. I mean, I was just reading an article that they say that it's, I think it was from last year, but it's you actually probably pay about the same amount. You know, with 10% down on for a 2-bedroom, rents can be.
With the tax write-off and everything, mortgage interest deduction, which may or may not go away. But yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
It's a great point.
When they said, I think like rental rates are up 8% over last year.
Absolutely. Across San Diego
Is that
County.
consistently,
Across San Diego
like-
County. And again, obviously every city is different, but
Yeah.
you're absolutely right for what you're saying. I mean, some of these people, for what they're paying per month, they can get a mortgage for that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
almost appreciating the same value that homes are appreciating, which
Right.
is crazy comparison if you think about that.
Yeah, and so what we look at is like, oh, I feel like it's the height of the market. I don't want to buy right now.
Right.
Right.
But interest rates are so low, and I ran the numbers again. There's a great chart, but right now we're around 375, and so on $400,000, you're looking at $1,875 for your mortgage payment.
Right.
If rates go up to 475, your ability to buy drops by 10%.
Right.
So you'd have to, you'd be, the market, it is more likely, wow, hello, more coffee. It is more likely that the market is going to not drop 10%, pause. Time out. Okay. It is more likely that rates will go up 1% than the market will drop 10%.
Sure.
And so if you can afford your monthly payments and you plan on living there for more than a couple years,
They
buying's
say
the way
5,
to go.
yeah.
Because even if values drop, your payment is still going to be the same. You're just
It's
going to be able
fixed,
to buy
yeah.
less house.
Right.
So
And just for an example, we have a property over in the Shadow Ridge Vista neighborhood, Paseo
Paseo
Rio, and it's
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, not barely 1,600 square feet, not a lot of land, $2,400 a month is what the
Yeah.
land rent.
And actually, I have a good friend that's renting out her Shadow Ridge house for $2,900.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Two-story,
So when you're
3-2.
talking about those prices, and there's a lot of people who, if you have the A-rated credit to rent, you might want to think about looking into buying. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, the other thing too is maybe you move into somewhere like Vista or somewhere that you can get more bang for your buck, wait the 5 years, keep the property, call them,
Yeah.
Of course.
right?
Exactly.
Make
Build
some
the equity
income for
too.
yourself and buy a new property, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because
that's
you're allowed to actually take out, I think, about 75% of the rental income to use it as income when you purchase.
buying
I
a
mean,
new
ask
one,
your
right.
lender for sure to be sure, but
Yeah.
you can actually use the rental income as income to purchase another property.
Yeah, and I love that because then you've got this little retirement account shaped like a
Right.
house.
Right.
And that,
Shaped like a house.
and that's what we did. That's what we did is we bought our first home. We were able to, take 80% is what they used
Yeah,
for our
something like that,
calculation of our rental income towards our new house. So
And that's 60% of our clients in San Diego was their home. They lived in it before. They do have that emotional attachment, but they bought it and then now it's worth a lot more. And so now they're either uplegging and they're saying, why sell it?
Yeah.
Why sell it? We can cover the mortgage with the rent, or it's going to be a good long-term investment.
Well, someone
Exactly.
they'll even take out the cash, to be able to put down on something bigger or their move up property, if they have the equity to do that. So.
Right.
Yeah, I love that because that's really how you can build generational wealth moving forward. And it's, not easy, but it's an easy way to do it.
To hold property. Yeah.
Absolutely. Another thing that we've been talking about is the FSBOs, so for sale by owner. Why can't I just do it myself, right? Like, I got this. Contracts, whatever.
Google.
Yeah.
Told me how to sell my house.
Tell me some of the experiences
YouTube
you've
video,
had with
yep,
that.
you got it.
I YouTubed it, yeah. How to be a realtor.
How to be
Post it on Craigslist.
right?
Just post it on
A
Craigslist.
2-minute video got the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny too because so many people in San Diego do have the real estate license, but having your license and selling real estate are two very different things.
Right.
And I've actually done a couple of for sale by owners where I represented the buyer, and they were some of the best transactions that I had because the seller didn't have anybody telling them what they couldn't do. So, like in California, real estate is sold as is, and the seller can say no if they don't want to repair something. Now, you might have to keep the deal together, but in general, you don't have to fix anything. So I just basically handed them the inspection list and said, okay, here's the things to be fixed. And they fixed everything.
Which could have cost them a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what that.
If I'd been representing the seller, I would have told them no on all these things, right?
Right.
Like, no, this is just say no.
Save
right?
And they thought they had to.
And they
just
thought
went
they
and
had
did it.
to. So, and sometimes you'll have buyers who want to ask for everything and the seller says no and the deal stays together. But, they didn't have anybody advocating for them. Whereas I was advocating for my clients. I want you to fix all these things.
And you got it all done.
Right.
And they just did.
Right.
And it was great because there was no argument. There was no like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But they could have saved a couple $1,000s and some stress as they're getting ready to move to their next home by not having to fix these things.
And there was another study on Inman News that showed that actually real estate agents tend to basically cover their commission costs. They'll say they'll get you $450 when you were going to put it on for $415, and you'll get that price. But really, why not hire the agent? Less stress, less time. If it's going to work out to be the same net, like why deal with it yourself?
Someone to
Well,
guide
yeah.
you.
And then you've also got the protection of someone
Insurance.
who's telling you what disclosures to use. We've got errors and omissions insurance, so you've got all this other protection that you wouldn't have selling your own home.
Well, you're both obviously a wealth of knowledge when it comes to real estate. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or find out more information, what's the best way to reach both of you?
You can call me at 760-415-0899. I don't know what camera I'm looking at. I'm trying to sell you, though.
Look at the cameras.
I just
And
the guns are out.
yeah, my number is 760-936-8576, and then my website is ChristieLundyGroup.com.
And mine is Pinamonti, sellingsdrealty.com, but I do have PinamontiProperties.com, but that's different. So sellingsdrealty.com. So you'll see us on Facebook. We're all around. Christie and I love to embarrass ourselves on video. So.
So if you want to see some fun Facebook Lives, come check us out.
People are
Find us
freaking
on
out.
Facebook,
They're
so.
commenting about the Running Man.
Right.
They're saying Angela and Christie are the best. We are watching. Great job. Awesome.
Aw,
Thanks,
thanks,
ladies.
guys.
Thanks, yeah.
So, Jayson and Yuri, tell us what GoldenWest Management is all about. Give us a synopsis.
Well, coming back, just like we talked about before, we're a residential property management firm. Okay, we focus on single family, townhome, condos. We also do your multi-units, 4 to 40 units plus. That's generally our ballpark. Now, we manage over 1,000 properties in 3 states: Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, and then here in San Diego. And then in San Diego, we're going to range from your Oceanside Vista up north all the way down to about your PB area, and then we're going to go from the coast to the 15. That's the area we cover.
GoldenWest, we are a service-driven organization. We are committed to excellent communication, so that means we will get back to you within 24 hours, guaranteed. It's part of our slogan. And number 2, we will find you A-rated tenants, and that doesn't only mean someone's going to pay the rent on time, but that they're going to take care of your property, because we know how important that is to landlords. And lastly, we're your neighborhood market experts. You can come to us. We know what the rents are. We're not just realtors who happen to do property management. We're licensed agents who solely focus on residential rentals.
Right.
So you're vetting the tenants before they even set foot in that property then, right?
I mean,
100%.
that's the most important thing that you do. And in fact, that's where we get a lot of clients, is that it's usually after the fact where they say, help me, right? And so, California is the most consumer-friendly state. It's the most tenant-friendly. If you put the wrong tenant in, not only could you not get the rent paid, but it can be a nightmare. They can destroy that home. And in California, when it takes $800 to $900 and 45 to 60 days to actually evict,
that's 60 days of no rent that you just lost.
and plus
Yeah,
maybe
you're
you got
out.
Damages.
maybe getting the house back in not the best condition. So securing A-rated tenants is the number one thing that we're going to be able to do for our clients.
So tell me what happens in the instance that maybe your client that you're managing their property for wants to sell the house. What happens then?
Got it. So when a property comes up for sale, it's usually by realtors. GoldenWest focuses on property management. So when a property comes up for sale, there's some rules and that have to be abided by. So we go to our agents right away and say, put that roadmap out for the tenant in writing so we know what we're covering. And that's really important. A perfect example is 24-hour notice to get into a property.
Now, we understand that we're in a market of instant gratification. We have buyers out there.
Millennials.
Yes,
Those
they
damn
go
millennials.
online,
I'm one
they
of them,
see
so-
it, they're
Right.
like, I need to see it now and today. And in order to facilitate this for everyone, it's important to just kind of set up a perfect way to just be able to access the property and having all parties be satisfied.
Right. I mean, and that's tough to do when the tenant has the law on their side. So what we recommend, obviously, is get that agreement together. Maybe a reduction in rent or some kind of concession to the lease in order to allow more convenient showings.
Can I suggest that they just wait until their tenant moves out?
Absolutely.
I know that's so hard. Sorry, I don't want to take your time.
No.
But I feel
super
like
important,
sellers get more money when there's not a tenant in place, and you get
easier to
buyers
show.
who aren't worried about a tenant leaving a property damaged. It is so much easier. We're going to be able to sell the property faster and for more money, and it helps the tenants, and it helps the sellers, I think, too.
Right.
Don't end up in a bad
It can
situation.
be very situational also, because we could be finding yourselves in a lease that just started.
Right.
They just
We
renewed.
get that call, and they're like,
Right.
oh yeah, we just renewed the tenant 2 months ago, and then
Like, we
we
haven't-
need to sell.
I'd be so pissed if I was living there.
Yeah.
But they can't.
I mean,
Right. And that is the reason why we talk about that. Number one, as realtors coming in, we're the property managers, so a realtor comes in and says, I got the listing, and I'm like, well, here's the lease, okay, and it just renewed, so this is what you have to work with. So again, just an example is notice to enter, trying to work with a tenant to find a concession that will help. In addition, we love to tell you that realtor, you're not the property manager, the landlord, so be careful what you say.
In our experience, anything that the realtor says will be held against the landlord at a later time.
Can be used
So
against you, absolutely.
we definitely recommend, realtor, whatever you say, unless you're willing to put it in writing, just be careful.
Right, and a perfect example is repairs. If we're not giving the tenant that roadmap of what to, how the lease is going to continue to call the property management company for repairs or anything to do with the lease, call the property management company. A repair is a common example. The tenant will say, well, I told the realtor, which realtor? The agent that was showing the property, the agent that's listing the property, and then you can have some real long-term damage. And it doesn't have to be malicious, it could just be miscommunication.
Yeah.
So again, using that roadmap to make sure that the tenant knows what is going to happen as a part of the sale. And for us as property managers, we're going to give you everything you need as realtors to set you up for success. We're going to give you the applications, the move-in walkthrough, the inspections, the lease, the pictures, so that you can have something to work with.
Yeah, again, this will give you a broader scope of what the property is looking like. For example, you can have a tenant that's telling you, hey, realtor, I pay my rent on time every month. And
I think that
here,
just happened to me.
yeah, I pay my
That
rent
happened to me too.
on
and they got
time.
paid for 5 months.
Oh my God. Every time. But we, the property manager, can provide you a tenant ledger to say, like, actually, you were late 4 times, 4 months in a row.
Right.
And those are the facts.
Well, and I want to back you as well because I've dealt with some smaller property
Yeah.
managers. It is kind of nice, and I feel like it's the same. Make sure you hire property managers and agents that have their stuff together that can provide you information the first day you meet because, and always interview more than one to know if they're a good fit for you or not. Because I've dealt with some smaller ones and they just weren't in communication with me. I'm trying to sell the property. I needed information like that,
Right.
and they couldn't provide it.
Yeah.
So then I'm kind of left even as an agent. And I wonder how my client's feeling.
well, what do you tell your client,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Or even the tenant that I'm now the middle person for, which I shouldn't be.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
And a good property manager will hand all of this stuff over us. So that's
Facilitate.
They should have checklists, facilitate, you know,
Right.
properly.
Facilitate to set you up for
Yeah.
success. That's the biggest key. Nobody wants to be in a situation where it is, adversarial. I'm not just talking about realtor, property manager. The tenant.
Yeah.
It's their home.
Yeah.
Right. Is there ever a situation where the tenant can stay
Absolutely.
with the change of ownership?
Every sale is going to be different. The realtors may be bringing to the table a buyer who is an investor and wants to keep them.
1031 exchange. Yeah.
There's a lot of scenarios, but understand that the lease contract, that is tied to that property. The lease has to, except for a few exceptions, certain foreclosure sales, that tenant's lease is staying with that property. It's transferring to that new buyer.
Bottom line, we do have to honor the lease.
Right.
But with that being said, there are ways. So like you had mentioned before, GoldenWest recommends cut your tenant a deal. Offer them something for them to vacate earlier. For example, full security deposit back. Of course, if they leave the property in broom swept condition.
Right.
And then we also recommend to giving them a rent credit for up to 1.5 times the rent.
1.5 times the rent.
Like we mentioned, like Jayson mentioned, this is the tenant's home. Whether they live there 6 months or 6 years, that's their home. And having to get up and leave, it's not the easiest. So kind of massaging that
to
a
that.
little.
And there's really low rentals right now, right? I mean, the amount of rentals available is crazy. I know they're really
Absolutely.
sticking to where they're staying because
It's
they're
a
afraid.
vicious world out there.
They're afraid they're not going to find anything
It
else.
is.
And I think,
School districts, everything.
And Yuri's 100% right. Even if they have 6 months left on the lease, to tell them, hey, we're going to have you leave at the end of the lease. With 6 months, okay, at least they understand. But if you have a buyer who wants to move in right away, you got to give a little. Once start providing maybe some credits or or cash for keys, as Yuri said, it's going to make that transition a little bit easier for the tenant. Imagine if they don't have to pay rent for a month, and they know all they got to do is leave the home broom so it's clean to get their security deposit back, and maybe a little extra for moving. They're going to be easier to work with.
Yep, exactly.
Just in our
halfway.
just in our experience, it's always best to not get the situation turned hostile
Right.
or tumultuous.
Right.
So from the beginning, if you just lay things out the right way and kind of get the tenant on your side, you have a cooperative tenant who is allowing you to show the property, and everyone's in good spirits.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Being respectful of everyone in the transaction, being respectful of the property
Right.
manager's relationship with the tenant and with the
Yeah.
homeowner, with that, with the tenant's relationship with the home, with,
Right.
the homeowner has the right to sell, but at the same time, this tenant has an agreement, and if they've been there for so many years, that is really hard to.
And you brought up a great point.
It's hard to come in.
You
and-
brought up a great point about landlords. We're not here to tell landlords when to sell or when not to sell. But that being said, if you have the ability to wait until the end of the lease and give the tenant proper notice, it drastically reduces the amount of friction in a transaction.
Yeah.
If you do have to sell, we understand there's a lot of reasons why. These are some examples of how to make it a little easier.
Yeah. In general, you're also, if you can take the month to month, if you have some savings for the mortgage, in general, you're going to get a better buyer and you're going to get a better price if
Right.
you don't have a tenant in place. Especially, even right now in this market, we're seeing if you throw in some new countertops, paint, flooring, you're going to get a much better price than leaving a home as is. People are really paying a
Curb
premium
appeal.
to
Move-in
really move-in ready.
Well, especially for the cost of rent. If you're going to pay that much, you want at least some bells and whistles
Right.
to go with
Yeah.
it, right? Not a 1970s, apartment.
No, not the white tile. Come
The
on
white,
now.
white everything.
All white, everything.
The little white 4x4s over there.
Right.
Oh man.
this.
Well, on the topic of rent, you're an excellent advisor to your clients in that you often even tell them, maybe you should do the rent a little under market value. It's
Right.
actually going to be an advantage to you in the long run. Talk to us about that.
So, GoldenWest philosophy is obviously going to be conservative with the rental price. Leave a couple dollars on the table so you can create a situation where there are a lot more prospects interested in your property. And as we talked about securing A-rated tenants, when you have more prospects, you get more applications, and then you can look through those applications for that perfect tenant,
Yeah.
right? And again, not talking about crossing any HUD laws, things like that, but 685 or better credit score. Do they make 2.5 times the rent? What did their last landlord say about them? Are they an axe murderer? Running that
How do you even
criminal?
know?
So look, we can't screen for crazy, all right?
Right.
Landlord or tenant,
Yep.
they're out there. But what we can do is a thorough background check to set you up for success, and it starts with being conservative with the rental price. And I think Yuri, you talked to me about cleaning the property. How many properties do we have where we have a landlord say, oh, I'll clean it, clean it once we get the tenant secured. And it's just one of those situations. That property should be ready to move in the day you're showing. That's how you're going to set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Lower time on market, better tenant.
Put your best foot forward,
Right.
if you're going to do it right. Well, it is the season of giving, right? And you expressed how important being involved in philanthropy is for you and GoldenWest. Tell us what you're involved with.
So just in October, we finished with our foundation, Mountain Shadows Foundation. We raise funds to assist both children and adults who have learning disabilities. We had a great golf tournament. We had much success, and we held it at the Santa Luz Club.
Nice.
Again, we are involved in that every year, and it's always a great success. We have over 400 players who get involved, and all those donations go to the foundation.
Right.
Super cool.
And the fun thing that we get to do, it's our first year doing this, but we're doing Toys for Tots.
Oh, cool.
So that's something that we are very passionate about. I think
Right.
Jayson can add on to what pulls on our heartstrings.
Right, I was a Marine, so I do remember every year, hey, it's December, November, December, let's put that together. So we're a Toys for Tots location in our San Diego office here. And
Which is where, if someone wants to drop off a toy.
we're on High Bluff Drive. So
Got it.
find us on GoldenWestManagement.com. But our box is full, and that's amazing. In fact, everybody in the building, tenants come in, they're dropping off toys. It's a great thing for a great cause. We're glad to be a part of it. I was a little nervous. I was like, are we going to fill the box?
Yeah, here's an empty box. How embarrassing.
Right.
You
A
can't
lot
do
of
that.
days to go too. They
Yeah.
need a new box.
It's not even December.
Right.
We're going to go pick up 2 more boxes.
Yeah.
That's
We're feeling
awesome.
confident.
And again, a lot of these are tenants or people that are in our building. They're, we just put up the little sign and told them, hey, this is a cause that we're near and dear to our heart. And they're willing participants. That's great.
Love that. Community's the best. Well, that's Jayson and Yuri Jacobo. They are with GoldenWest Management. You can check them out at goldenwestmanagement.com. Any other information you want to give out about how people can reach you?
How people can reach us, well, they can definitely reach us on our website. We have all the social media platforms as well. I just wanted to reiterate that in property management, we understand that we have to deal with one of the most important aspects of someone's life. Whether you're a tenant and you're living in the property, or you're a homeowner who used to live there and is using the income for the college tuition for their kids or retirement. We just want to say that what we say to our clients is, if you entrust in us, we will take care of you, because we understand that this is personal.
All right.
Totally.
Absolutely. Rent it like you mean it. You can find us at goldenwestmanagement.com, and we want to thank you again for allowing us to be back here, and it was great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Likewise. What is your takeaway? What do you want people to remember? Give us a little synopsis. We've shared
I
so
feel like
much.
we always stare at each
Beatboxing.
other.
Not creepy at all. Yeah. Gosh.
I'd say just
How is this the stumper?
I know, right? I'd say just do your research and hire the right real estate agent, and find somebody that has the same beliefs as you, because it's a horrible thing to get in business with somebody that will bring you animosity or cause you trouble or more stress. I mean, that's one of the biggest purchases and sales of your whole entire life, most likely. Or it might have some family resemblance of importance to you. So just hire the right agent, find someone that has cues of who you want to do business with.
Yeah.
And I think for me is that whether the market is up or down, if you plan on investing in real estate and keeping it long term, it's going to be something that helps your family build wealth over time. So I always think my grandparents bought that house, $26,000, $950,000 later.
Wow.
What a great
incredible.
investment. But that's 50 years, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so don't buy for 2 years.
Right.
Buy
But
for
we had a-
10, 15, 20.
We had a client in 1 year who made $50,000.
It's incredible.
I mean, literally, we were going to list their home for $50,000 less a year before, and now it's
Delayed gratification.
Delayed
In this
gratification.
generation, we're all about now, the now.
Yeah, so think about real estate investment as long term,
Long-term.
and when you think of it that way, it's always a good investment.
And give out your websites for us one more time.
Mine is sellingsdrealty.com, and my phone number is 760-415-0899.
Yeah, and I'm Christie Lundy with Remax at the Coast, and I'm ChristieLundyGroup.com and 760-936-8576.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for being here.
Claire.
Thank you for watching us today. This has been Real Talk San Diego, bringing you the business of life in America's finest city. I'm Claire McKee. Go love everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.